It's just the stress of it happening live. I think that's pretty much what gets to me. It's like, oh, come on, not now. I don't mind fixing problems when it's just me and I'm only wasting my own time. Yeah, exactly, Shikal I think part of it is when something goes wrong and you're alone, it's only going wrong for you. With when things go wrong and you're streaming, it's going wrong for everyone. Though the reality is, quite a lot of people enjoy the drama. Let's not pretend that isn't the case, because it is. Oh yeah, absolutely, it's Alex. I'll take it over doing the entire stream thinking it's working and then finding out it didn't. Yeah. Yeah, that's happened a few times. And then I've gone back to the VODs thinking, oh, that was an amazing stream. And I'm just watching it back. And I'm like, what? What? Why didn't anyone tell me? The worst one is when people will just live with audio issues. And I'm like, no, tell me there's a problem. I will fix it. And then we will continue and the problem will be resolved and it'll be glorious. Don't just accept that there's a weird popping every so many minutes. My lord. But that happens more often than you might think. Yeah, Jacques Draconis. Wait, you guys weren't kidding about not being able to hear me? Balls. Indeed. But I'm really glad that you enjoyed it, mate. It looked super fun. And yet another reason why I'm sat here thinking, I really wish I had a PS5. If only you lived a little bit closer to Alex, what we could do is like, I'll lend you my 3080 gaming rig and I'll borrow your PS5. And then we could just stream for a little while and then we'll swap back. It would be great. Marvellous. Be a massive nostalgia trip. I used to do that with my brother's PS2 all the time. He'd borrow my computer, I'd borrow his PS2. Good times. Don't worry, PS6 is around the. Oh, shush. Because you know what? The PS6 probably will be released by the time I get a chance to get a PS5 annoyingly. But yes, welcome, Raiders. Sorry for the long ramble there. This is Tyranny. For those of you who don't know, it's an RPG developed by Obsidian. As such, very well made, amazing writing, and interesting game systems. Not strictly borrowing from, in fact, not at all borrowing from traditional RPG systems like D&D and things like that. This game is a little bit more. Well, I wouldn't say it's like adult in the sense of I don't think there's anything in here you wouldn't find in most games, but they will tackle topics in general that are a little bit more morose and macabre, generally a little bit darker in certain ways. Some characters have very sad storylines, and other characters just glory in murdering people and eating them, and so on and so forth. It's kind of a mixed bag, really. If you're familiar with RimWorld, then this shouldn't cause you any trouble, really. But yeah, it's certainly not the fluffy unicorns and spangly colours of D&D. It also has one of the best magic systems in any game ever. Yeah, if Verse is in your party, then you get a lot of colourful language. That is true. Verse enjoys flexing her colourful lexicon. But yes, so and now that we've read through all of this, we've just unlocked a new spire. I would try to summarise the story for you, but we're quite deep in at this point, and there's a lot of story to cover. But I'll give you the TLDR cliff notes. We're the bad guys. There are no good guys. We work for the bad guy. We're the possibly ambiguous, maybe bad, maybe just bad good guy. And there is an enormous amount of replayability in this game. I haven't really scratched the surface of it. to be perfectly honest, it's my first playthrough. There are lots of different ways to play through the game that have enormous, far-reaching story effects. And yeah, I've gone down a route of, I'm not working for anyone. You all suck at your jobs. Bunch of imbeciles, frankly. I could do this better by myself, on my own. So I'm going to, just to prove a point. That's more or less where I've happened to fall into. I like to put it down to the fact my character was raised by women in the wild and doesn't easily yield to these squelching fleshlings and their silly armies. However, there are lots of different ways you can play, and you can ally with different characters and have wildly different story paths. So, just remember, we're the bad guys-ish. It's ambiguous. Maybe we're not. Maybe we are. We're generally just subjugating an entire area because the evil emperor said we should, and we are. How subjugatey we are about doing it, though, that's the wiggle room of whether you're a bad guy or just a half bad guy. Yeah, ish is probably the best way of putting it. We are the baddies, though. There is no way around that. We are the baddies. And that's kind of the reason I like this game. It's like, nah, you're not good. You're just kind of lawful evil or chaotic evil. You've got the evil spectrum to play with, but you are evil. That's where you live. The Ocean Spire is in the Blade Grave. Feels weathered and battered, like a flag that has whipped in the high winds beyond its intended duration. Perhaps in spite of this, the connection formed with Vendrian's Well is strong. Almost overwhelmingly so. Kills in Shadow is also the best character in the game. Fight me. Or fight Kills in Shadow, actually. Why would I fight you? I'll let you fight Kills in Shadow instead. Kills in Shadow can fight her own fights. Kills in Shadow, best hunter. You can conquer people for their own good, though. Well, I mean, I sort of. See, I think Nightly Prophet is exemplifying the spirit of this game. Peace through power. Our peace, through you. More or less. Like straight through you, like a train through a wall. Smells like seawater, like wood and wind and bird dropping dung. Strange. Can see place called ocean, but can't see birds or dung here. She squints her sharp hunter's eyes as she peers towards the horizon. It's mostly got voice acting. I don't know why they're not talking here. This is odd. There was running water. There was a running wager at the Vellum Citadel. How far southwest can one sail before reaching the end of the ocean? From here, I'd guess forever is close to the right answer. Looking out at the expanse of ocean to the south, Lantry moves his quill in a hurried rush as he sketches the blue-green panorama. I knew the world was huge, but you never really understand the extent of it until you see it from this high. How far does the ocean reach? I kind of wish I'd brought Ebb here now. I think she would have appreciated that view. Like, a lot, actually. The nuance between the kind of bad that is subjugating people to save their lives or subjugating people because your boss would just prefer to have living subjects. Yeah, Dunkerton. And that's kind of on the right path there. Look, this is going to happen, so we can do it the painful way or the deadly way. Sadly, that's also fairly accurate. Yes, Shakal Draconis. Right. Well, I've only got one upgrade that I can build now, and that'll be the infirmary. It's the last upgrade to build. I've got all of the other spires, so sure, we'll lay down some coins for it. My lord. Okay. 10 bronze rings. Are you sure you want to build this upgrade on the spire? Yes, I've got nothing else to do with it. But I will answer any questions you have. Oh my lord, that changed pretty quickly. I'll answer any questions you have. If you haven't played before and you're wondering about any kind of interface or mechanic in the game, if I gloss over it, it's just because we're reasonably deep into the game at this point, but don't hesitate to ask. Either chat can help you or I can. But do understand, this is a 100% 100% spoiler-free zone. No exceptions. None. If you even think it's a spoiler, it's a spoiler. And yes, there is Eb. I will have a word with Eb in just a moment. But first, let's go ahead and check on this spire. What can I do here? A master trainer who teaches law, control life, and the use of magic staves. An alchemist who provides the infirmary with supplies to create potions. A merchant with a large collection of potions. An alchemist who brews potions to take into battle. A merchant with a large collection of poisons. Many of them illegal. I like the distinction. Well, this poison is completely legal, and this poison isn't. Theodosian, thank you very much for the gift subs there, mate. The main impression I got is that you either get to be pragmatic, deciding to not work for the effective god isn't the best idea, or you actually enjoy what you do. Yeah, it seems to be the case, Duncurtin. The Kyros is for all intents the God Emperor, yes. And we are a fate binder in the service of Tunon. This world is super high magic, and the best way for me to describe it is everyone's kind of being conquered, or has been conquered by Kyros, who's in a world where some people have strange abilities. Like, for example, you might be, I don't know, the Archon of Song, and you can sing, and your songs will manifest changes in people's minds, or you can literally sing, and the song will cut people, or whatever. Or you might be the Archon of War, and your armies are bolstered, your soldiers are more soldierly. And they kind of fight on because your morale and presence evokes that in them. Or you could be Kyros, and you can write edicts that basically bend reality. But they have to be an edict. So Kyros will word something like, if... Oh, and this is an example from the very early part of the game. If this area in the game hasn't been conquered by this date, everyone in that area is going to die. That isn't a threat. That has now become an immutable natural law. In the same way that gravity is a natural law. You can't just defy gravity, and you can't defy that edict either. If that place hadn't been conquered by the chosen time, everyone there would die. It's just that simple. They would simply not be alive anymore. But often the edicts are worded in such a way that there is a get-out clause, and sometimes they're worded in such a vague way that you can effectively, and the game is quite open about this, work around them. In that, when you evoke the edict, it says by the something of swords, like a day in a month. It doesn't specify the year, though. So, within the game, if you and lots of people told me this after the fact, if you just play the game normally, you'll evoke the edict, you'll have a couple of days to sort things out, and you probably will, and then the story will progress. However, if you wait and just pass enough time that day passes, so it's like now the 11th of Swords, and you evoke the edict, well, the edict will only activate on the 10th of Swords. You've got a full year to complete conquering that area now, because, well, it's just going to wait until that day arrives, and if it's not conquered by that day, then everything gets destroyed. It's such a fun system, and I love it. The magic system is, oh my god, it is a thing of beauty. I'm going to give you an extreme crash course. Throughout the game, you learn various things, either by being particularly clever and discovering them, or by bartering, or finding secrets. You unlock core sigils. There are more than this, I believe. But let's take healing. Let's say I wanted to make a healing spell. Good place to start, Sigil of Life. Now you choose an expression of that. Now it could be approximate action. And again, these are uncovered as you go through. And they're not... Some of them are story points and you're going to have to uncover them. Some of them you can easily miss. And there have been many times where people in chat are like, how did you find that sigil? And it's just, I happened upon it. Or my characters had the right skills in the right place to uncover it. And so you've got different things like influential domain expression used to create spells that affect all targets within a circular area. So let's go with that. I've now got restore the land, which chooses an area. I can lay it down, and then everyone in it is regaining health for 45 seconds. But I can then put further accents on it, like I can make it so that I can cast more spell. Like if I cast this spell, then I inherently can cast spells faster for a little while. I can make this spell last for longer. Instead of 14 seconds, I can make it last for 24 seconds. I can choose to make it have a larger area of effect. So range is now 12 meters instead of 8. I can give it a larger radius, so on and so forth. And you build your own spells over time this way. And all of these spells, many of them are different, even though they've got the same basic idea. You'll notice that I'm building up the amount of lore required. That's one of the stats. And so right now, none of my casters would be able to cast the spell as it is. If I dial it back, Lantry would be able to cast it. And so I've tailored the spells here and there to the person who's going to be casting it. It's such a cool system. You've got so much variety with this to accent your playstyles. It's super, super fun. Right. Now, with that, we've just unlocked a new area, so I've got an awful lot of people that I can talk to. Also, apparently I can loot myself. Don't mind me. I'm just going to steal my own things. The only fault I see in the spell system is I wish the accents also graphically... Yeah, I wish the accents graphically changed things as well. That would have been really cool. But apparently I can just come over here and make things. I approve. I can make Walking Death. Taken before falling unconscious, the spores of the Walking Death mushrooms guarantee to revive the imbiber with a fraction of their full health. So I've got loads of different things that I can make, which is actually quite cool. I need various alchemical supplies and a bit of time. And recruits needed at the infirmary. So I need to recruit more people to work here to facilitate me being able to use some of the more interesting, make some of the more interesting potions. I'm not a big potion user. I'm not a big consumable user, though, with my playstyle. Also, what does this say? The old walls extend from the ruined lands out to the southern sea. Okay, time for us to chat with some of the peeps here, though. Got a spire worker over there. Let's have a chat with you. Have you got anything interesting to say? The winds makes it a bit chilly up here, but the view makes up for it. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying your time.
At your service, Fatebinder.
Verse Loyalty 3. You've got a lot of faction differences. People can both be loyal to you and be afraid of you at the same time, or one more than the other, and depending on the balance of people's loyalty and their fear, you'll get different dialogue options. You'll also get different passive or active abilities with that person in your party, or the passive ones might actually be possible even without them in your party. I have a question. You explained Archons, the God Emperor, and some other roles. Just what is a Fatebinder? Okay, a Fatebinder is a servant of Tunon, the Archon of Justice. Archons, they're people who gain power. They're not born Archons, at least no one seems to know. And again, I don't know the ins and outs, the actual facts. Like, I'm just going off the lore that I've been able to pick up in-game through talking to people, but the theories seem to imply that they're not born with these powers. They kind of manifest, and as people believe enough in them, they become more powerful until eventually they're recognized as Archons. Now, that might just be a title, or it might be some part of the process which gives them their powers. But Tunon is the Archon of Justice. It's more or less... Tunon is justice. The concept of justice. As such, Tunon basically works as a judge and adjudicator. And I am one of his trained Fatebinders. I speak with the authority of Tunon. And so, to a certain degree, you can think of Judge Dredd if you really want to, because it's kind of true. I can resolve conflicts with the authority of Tunon. If someone has a conflict and asks, like, okay, which is the right path, which is the wrong, I can dictate it. I can say, that's the right path. That is then legally binding. Likewise, I can just dole out dole out punishments. Like if I'm like, you've committed heresy by doing this, punishment is death. I mean, yes, actually it's death. I could also equally say, you know, like 10 days in an ISO cube, but I prefer to say death. Tunon is the law. As his representatives, your words are law by extension. Yes, that's exactly it. Hey, Spring Critter, how are you doing? Now, how are you doing, Verse? Tell me something about yourself. How is it you picked up your fallen sister's weapon skills? I would like to discuss your apparent connection with Barak. I don't think I've got enough favor with. I've probably got enough favor with Verse for Barak for me to talk about this, but I don't think I've got enough favor with Barak to make that happen. Tell me something about yourself. I don't know if there's anything more to say.
I'm a Scarlet Fury. That should raise some flags for you. It means that I'm good at killing, and more importantly, that I enjoy it.
Marvelous!
What I won't enjoy are the pleasures of funerary rites packed with weeping mourners. Someday I'll fall in battle, and then they'll roll me into a mass grave or heap me atop a shit-stained wagon. One more anonymous, knife-riddled piece of meat.
Eh?
Until then, I plan to take whatever I can from life and have a little fun along the way.
Words to live by. I think we've more or less talked about everything with Verse to a certain degree. I think we've already completed one of her loyalty quests as well. I will say farewell for now. I don't think there's too much more for us to say with Verse. Let's have a look with reputations with Verse. Maybe we can. Archons are not bestowed by Kyros. They were subjugated by him. They predate his rise, or most of them. Yeah, see, that's what I thought was the case. I will have a chat with it and see if... How's it that you picked up your fallen sister's weapon skills? It's been on my mind for some time, and I still don't have an explanation that fits. I have a few ideas, but she frowns in deep thought. Scarlet Furies share a sort of link. It's how we coordinate our dance in the heat of battle. We don't pass messages or anything, but our emotions and intentions sync up without words. She starts worrying one of her knives. After a moment, she sighs and slaps the blade back into its sheath. See, if I was a soldier or a war mage, I could speak about this. Go on. The one thing I always knew was that I felt this connection more keenly with my sisters than my sisters did. I could pick up nuances that they missed, and I could feel them from further away. When my sisters died, I felt each of them getting yanked out of my brain like someone pulling snails from a garden. But some of the slime residue was still there. Does that make any sense? Yes, sadly. I would take comfort in that. Your sisters live on in you. I don't know. Should exploit the skills to its fullest potential. Well, I'll go with one. I've gained fear with this. Your optimism is cute, Faintbiter, if singularly useless. I won't bring my sisters back, and it doesn't fix this thing in my head that I don't understand. There we go. And that is how things work, like fear and loyalty. Now, if I have a look over here, I think I've already gone through that conversation, though. Was appalled by your orderly, honourable ways. Yeah, I think that was the one that just happened there. So that pumped fear up quite a lot. The fear is perhaps the wrong way of putting it, but let's talk with Eb. Eb nods at your approach and offers a curt bow.
What is it you need?
See, I wouldn't mind you being in the party, but... No, let's return to your travels. Got nothing to say to you right now. Let's talk with the alchemist, though. You might be able to train me in some things. Welcome to the Spire's Infirmary, Fatebinder. As you can see, we have everything in order and under control. What can I do here? If you wish to craft potions, we have an alchemy station nearby. We are, of course, producing a modest supply of potions ourselves. You have but to ask, and I'll show you what we have. What do you make of the spire? The alchemist glances towards the edge of the spire with an anxious twitch. This is certainly an irregular place to establish our services, but so be it. At least we are removed from the front lines of this conflict, for the time being at least. What have you made for me? We have nothing for you at the moment. Ah, you're useless. I just fired up the game and started a new game, and that's in the opening semantic. They were Archons first. You can't argue with the game itself. Fair enough.
You look as if you have something on your mind. By all means.
I only got loyalty one with Barrack. We're not good friends, he and I. I don't think there's anything else we want to really discuss with him either. For the most part, I think we're good with characters here. What I would like to do, though, is hire some people. Control life, use the magic start, control emotions. No, I want law. Yes. Sage Euphira. The next time I travel here, okay. Well, what I can do is I believe I can travel between any of the spires more or less instantly. Which spire do I have my forge in? Mountain Spire has the mysterious device. New items since last visit. New items since last visit. Okay. I've got the training grounds over here at the Stone Sea Spire. The forge is there, though. Merchant specializes armors. Smith who provides bronze ingots to upgrade weapons. Provides iron ingots. Merchant specializes. Well, I mean, I could hire someone who could provide with some decent ingots. Sure, we'll pop that in there. Master Trainer who teaches dual-wield bows and subterfuge. One-handed subterfuge and parry. Unarmed attacks. Control frost. Control lightning. Control force. And control illusions. Unarmed attacks, dodge, and athletics. Two-handed provides hides to upgrade armor. Versus is already there. Conquest, skill trainer. Skill trainer teaches unarmed attacks, parry, dodge, subterfuge. Skill trainer, one-hand weapons, two-handed, dual-wield, parry, and dodge. Regularly produces weapons. That is a stupid amount of money. That might not be a bad idea to get Lone Fang there, actually. I no longer have the caster grab these people. You can't hire any more recruits for this upgrade. Oh, okay. I've got lots of people in the library already. Fair enough. Death Leaper. That sounds like a Scarlet Chorus name. Okay, we're going to jump over here since there's new items for me. So let's go there first. And we're just going to hop around the various spires quickly. Got the Dawning Spire. Right up top. 15 minutes. Donk. We haven't made anything for you yet. It's the alchemist off the tower. Trainer Reese. Just going to have a word with you then. How might I help you, Fatebinder? Itching to hone your skills. What can I do here? I'd like to train. I mean, I wouldn't mind training my law, frankly, but that's not something you do train, it seems. Or at least not something you can train any further. It's up to 50, you can train it. Is there anyone else who has things for me to collect? Spire Worker. Oh, Varus, actually. Let's speak with Varus. Sorry, I thought that was Verse. The rugged soldier snaps to an immediate salute, his fist clanging against his breastplate. Graven Ash protects. I'm going to say nothing. I don't work for Grivenesh. He gives you a mixed expression and locks his feet together. Of course, I shouldn't expect you to engage with the rank and file. Apologies for my assumption. Compromised the dignity of the court. I couldn't be more proud to stand atop the spire with a true friend of the Legion, Fatebinder. He looks out to the horizon and takes a deep breath. I've been away from home for too long, and it's good to see the north from this vantage. I could just keep saying nothing for a while. The Glaze silently approach. I will at one point replay this and only ever pick Glaze silently whenever it's available. Continue to say nothing. His rigid stance wavers with uncertainty. Instead of small talk, perhaps you're more interested in my qualifications. I'm an oathbound, and among other things, that means I'm distinguished scout and hunter. If you're interested in pelts, it would be my honor to scour the wilderness beyond the spire and lay some traps. Anything I bring back is yours by rights. Not to indicate you want something. It's gone beyond words now. I don't speak to this person. I just make gestures. He smiles. I'll show you what I've got. This is fantastic. I will take all of these things. Thank you very much. There are so many different ways you can play this game. It's hilarious. We've got the Aurora Spire. Did the Aurora Spire have anything that I needed? Let me just double check. I think, yeah, the Aurora Spire there. So, Sunset Spire, and then we're going to jump over to the Mountain Spire. So, Sunset Spire, please and thank you. And it's going to take me 15 minutes. Breakfast? Glare. Yep. One thing I must comment on from this game, the art is remarkable. Everything is stylized just enough to give a suspension of reality, and it feels relatively unique in the genre, which is not often said. That's a very, very good observation, actually, yeah. Right, we've got a lot of people around here. Oh, my lord, so many people, actually. Okay. Well, Sage Garius, I'll just have a chat. This is my library. What status of your research? I'm happy to say I've made great progress. He beams at you and exhales a welcome breath. Allow me to show you my findings. Okay, we've got plans for Snowfang. Searchers at your library combed through ancient scrolls, searching for hints of items of power. They found a few fragments that mentioned a legendary weapon whose blade could freeze opponents solid. This ancient weapon was known only as Snowfang. The sage believed that a skilled smith could recreate the powerful weapon. Okay, I approve. Take hold. New Spire Forge plan available. Okay, I want you to research something. Research items. Because I've got the Silent Archive, this is basically a quest option that I went through that can be easily changed. Like, you might not have access to the same sorts of things in any playthrough where you deviate significantly from the choices that I've made, but potion recipe, shield plan, drug recipe, dragon plans, artifacts. Conduct research to find recipes for new items. Time short. Time long. Short. Silent Archive research items. We'll continue to make use of the Silent Archive where we can. Recruits are busy researching. Lithos. Let's have a chat. May I offer you the benefit of my wisdom, Fatebinder? Let's talk magic. Control atrophy, control stone, control force. Not really anything I need right now. Velos, what do you teach? The sage examines the scroll, taking in every detail of his handiwork. Did you know there are 7 ways to write fire, but only 2 for water? He continues to examine the scroll without the slightest sign that he was expecting an answer. Could it be that fire has more meaning in our era? There is a short pause before he realizes you've actually approached him for something. Oh, my apologies, Fatebinder. I can be taken for a ride by my own trails of thought. Same. I'm sure there's something you need from me. What have you made for me? I don't have anything for you at the moment. Check back later. Recruits can generate items for you while you're gaining experience by adventuring in the world. Okay, well, fine. You've been added to the Yeet list. I love that this game is basically about morality and just doesn't have a morality system. Just choices and consequences. Yes. I'm a big fan of the fact that this game just leaves you to deal with that rather than turns it into a point system. Hoo hoo, hee hee, ha ha. The blood chanter laughs and canters about, dancing in rhythmless and maniacal fashion. What now? What is it? I've come to help you, dear one. The voices of Narat told me to go up, up, up to the spire and find the decorated fate binder of Tunon. Now here I am. She spreads her arms wide. I am Puppet, and my master bade me to keep you entertained, sharp, and battle-ready. Would you like to try your hand at juggling fireballs, or shall we trade stories and cry ourselves to sleep? She folds her hands into a pillow and rests her head. Let's trade. They can actually take my skills stupid high. Wow, okay. Fair point. Let's have a chat with you. I read that it's pickled first. Now my brain is trying to taste the pickled chives. What? Pickled chives? But how will I reach maximum paragon and validate my choice? Mythical, yeah, indeed. I've got scrolls. Vellum, parchment? She shakes her head. It's really more interesting once you start reading. Kids, take a look. Show me what you have to say. Okay. You got some interesting things. Okay. Staff of Boreal Frost. Various staves. Exceptional signal of precise action. That's stupid expensive. My lord. Sigil of focused rain. Rapid casting. Of marking. I want to learn a bit more about this. Magical accent, which adds a marked affliction to a spell. Magical accent, which removes the recovery time for a material force or guarded form spell. Oh, okay, that's not too bad. Focus Rain. The scroll contains a magical accent, which reduces the area of effect, but increases the number of projectiles of a chaotic descent spell. Sigil of Strength, Staggering Force, Reaching Grasp, Piercing Force, Limitless Boundaries. Now that sounds interesting. The scroll contains a magical accent, which greatly increases the area of a spell's effect. Arnish, thank you very much for the 4 months, mate. Diolch yn fawr iawn for the support. Scroll contains a magical accent, which exceptionally increases the accuracy of a spell. Well, I mean, they all sound amazing. Sadly, I am a little bit shy on funds right now, but maybe one day. Feeler? Forgebound, Favour 3. Shall we bend the elements to our will today, Fatebinder? She clasps her hands together with eagerness. And this is due to a way I completed a quest and rose favour with the Forgebound, the faction. Ah, damn it. However, you could absolutely gain something from this. Sure. And I'm out of money. Oh, this character has already trained the maximum number of times this level. Well, such is life. Okay. I think we've already spoken with Lethos, haven't we? Or did I think I did. Yes, I did. Sage Niria. Still interested in my illusions, Fatebinder? Niria offers a deep bow. I'd like to train. See, Gravelight is the one. This is where we can pick that up, but I don't yet have any Gravelight sigils to make use of, which is a shame. Alright, final place then. Heading over to the Mountain Spire, and then we're going to be going back to our quest. Okay. There we go. Now, it's going to be interesting how this device might change now that we've got all of the spires. I'm going to have to give that a poke in a second. Always an honor to see you, Fatebinder. Interested in a lesson? I'll hear what you have to teach. Control Life, Gravelight, Mage Staff. Not really interested, sadly. Tycon the Swindler. I'm going to have a quick chat. I trade in secrets, lies, and swindles, for which you are in the market today, my friend. For which are you, rather? What tips and rumours do you have for me? Supposedly, Blood Mark once wore 2 wedding shackles in the custom of his culture. I find it a daunting prospect. 2 shackles, meaning 2 marriages, joined in union at the same time. I'm unsure whether I envy or pity them. Well, it can certainly... It has its ups and downs, to be fair. Any other rumours? The only man in the tiers who hears more whispers than I do is the voices of Narad. I can guarantee you that. Have you noticed a rather significant portion of Tunon's court comprises that of rehabilitated criminals? No? Just me, then. When prominent leaders of the Scarlet Course disappear, they often later resurface within the voices of Narad. Within? The disfavoured ones were known by another name. Contrary to my first assumption, it was not the favoured. Tunon, the Adjudicator, originally had 3 faces. Kyros destroyed one of them for displeasing him. I've heard whispers of disorder within the Bronze Brotherhood. A woman named Welby has been tapped to replace Retmon. That's an interesting bit of rumour there, because that actually did end up happening. I thought you might find it of interest to know that the disfavoured's 4th Battalion has recently marched on Sentinel Stand. They've established a camp and a modest supply route there. Hey, Barash Kampachi, how you doing, mate? Venturing Guard, Wrath 3. Yes? You want something from me? He folds his arms impatiently. Show me what you have to say. Have you made anything lately? Sure did. Come right here and I'll show you. Okay, well, not too terribly bad. I'll take some of it. Most of it is not useful to me. But what about this? You can see clear pictures of the tears in your mind, hushed voices that speak of your deeds. It is clear to you that these spires are connected now in some kind of web of linked magic, one always hungering for more. If you concentrate, it would appear you can begin the same trance that showed you glimpses of the previous spire. Oh, apparently I've got to walk away. Fair enough. Okay. Well, I think, although we don't have anything to collect at the Aurora Spire, that is where our forge is. So I'm going to pop over there and see if we can't maybe get something made. Thanatos, Master of Brazing. I swear, at first I read Master of Beating. I was like, well, I mean, that kind of makes sense. We've been hearing rumours of the mayhem you've been starting down below. I say keep it up, if you ask me. Well, I mean, fair. Forge bound, favour 3. Aavak. The briefest of smiles crosses his face and is gone as quickly as the light flickers across it. If what they say is true about the magic of these spires, it will be my distinct honour to work for you amongst these forges. What have you made for me? I don't have anything for you at the moment. Come back later. Can I make anything? Select a weapon or armour from your inventory to upgrade. Ah, there we go. There was a piece of armor, was there not? Or did I give it to Lantern? No, I gave it to... There we are, Ancient Archon Robes. Oh, can't be upgraded. Very well. Oh, I suppose so, in fact, because it's already at the highest tier. Are there any particular items that I could make use of? I'm not really certain there are. I might be able to upgrade. Oh, Forge Recruits require 3. Upgrade time 5 hours, but I could upgrade that to recovery. Well, does it actually help me that much? 3 armor quality, I guess, but it would move it up to the exquisite tier. Very expensive, though. Very expensive.